Hello foodie friends, welcome back. We are again looking at our new Dealinator cookbook from 1929 that I picked up at a library book sale. But this time we're actually gonna cook out of one of the newspaper clippings that I found in the cookbook. This one is from a woman named Madge. Now, if you watched last week's, you'll know that I kind of went over some of the more weirder aspects of some of these articles. And this one did the same thing. It's got a picture of Madge along with her husband's full name, her last name, and her full address. Now, I think that's totally bizarre, but apparently that's just what they did back in the 40s and 50s, and I think even into the 60s and possibly the early 70s, especially around in like the more southern regions, rural regions of the United States. Now, I'm not going to show you, well, I'll show you later, but I'm going to like kind of mark out some of the information in here because this house actually still exists. And even though this woman has passed away, and her husband, her children and her grandchildren are still alive. And so just out of respect for their privacy, I'm not gonna like show everything. But I do want you to see her picture. And I will show you some of the actual recipe itself. So we're gonna do that. And last week, I said that these were cookies. That's what I assumed, and that's bad on me because I should really stop assuming with these historical recipes until I've read all the way through, obviously. But this is actually going to be bread, like a sweet dessert bread. So I've got my pans out. I'm ready. It seems a little odd that that's how we're going to do it, but we're going to trust the newspaper and we're just gonna do it exactly as it says and see how it turns out. Also, I'm kind of excited because I get to use this absolute adorable little buttermilk I found at the Mennonite store here in Greene County, and I absolutely love when things come in little miniatures like this. It's perfect for us because we don't really use a lot of buttermilk, so this is a really good amount. Plus, I may actually keep this little bottle to do with, I haven't figured out yet, but I do kind of have a habit of, which this is something else I picked up at the Mennonite store. So maybe I just need to stop going there because apparently they have a lot of miniatures. But I kind of pick things up because they're in cute little bottles. And then I try to keep the bottles to see what I can reuse it for. If anyone else has that little habit, please let me know in the comments below so I know that I'm not the only one that does this. So stay tuned for the Jumbles, but first I'm gonna go ahead and show you this one obviously, and then some other kind of exciting things, including a World War II story that I found within the little pages of these paper clippings. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll bake and eat. All right, so I am filming this on my parents' front porch right now. Hopefully that's not a mistake because I'm surrounded by birds and they're kind of loud. They're getting really close. So I don't know, maybe I disturbed their nesting or something, but anyway, this is the recipe that we're going to be doing. Now don't worry, I'll be putting the ingredients in the description box below. I'm just marking out her name and her address because this house is actually still in existence and she does have surviving children and grandchildren, like I said, so I don't want to do an invasion of privacy, but I did at least want you to see her picture. This is Madge, and she is the reason why we are making what we're making today. And as I stated in the intro, there is her quote about these being quantity and quality, because with 3 boys in the house, she needs the food to last. I thought that was really cute. She also had another recipe here, need a salad for a large party. And then this salad makes a large amount. Now I've got her name blocked out. But here we have the actual recipe over here for Coca-Cola salad. So if any of you guys want to have a go at this, you can pause it right here and, you know, copy down the stuff. But all you need is, of course, lime jello, lemon jello, and Coca-Cola. You've got some crushed pineapple and pineapple juice, and then, oh, and pecans. Okay, so then you put all that together and chill in the refrigerator, and there you go, is a Coca-Cola salad, which we all know in the 1950s, the word salad was used pretty loosely. Here is another little menu that I found. Now this handwriting's a little different than the other one I showed you, so this might be another owner of this cookbook through the years, but she decided to have beef roast. I'm not really sure what that is. Some of this is really hard to read, but she also had browned potatoes. I'm pretty sure that's stringless pole beans, carrot and pineapple cheese salad. That sounds interesting. Carrot and pineapple cheese salad. I wonder if that was another kind of like jello salad. Then she has bran muffins, and I'm not really sure what this is, but it's some kind of cake. But anyway, there's her little menu that she put together, and it actually sounds pretty good. I would probably eat all of that, actually. Now here is actually the favorite item that I found out of all these little newspaper clippings. You see here, we have officials list Sergeant Cox among missing. Now I'm not going to read this whole thing, but just tell you that a man named Arthur Cox, who was in World War II, was in a raid over France, and there he was declared missing. And they told his parents, and his mother said, and then this is my favorite part, but we are not giving up hope. And the reason why that's my favorite part is because he was actually found and lived a long life after this. So I was a little worried because, you know, usually newspaper articles like this from the 40s, they don't end too well, you know, especially if you got shot down over enemy territory. But this one actually had a happy ending. He was actually shot down over France. He spent time with a French family and then escaped to Spain, where he was caught and spent a month in a Spanish prison before being rescued. He actually wrote a book about all this called Escape Through Enemy Territory. And yes, I did look for that book, but I could not find it for sale. Otherwise, I would have purchased it and read it. Now, he actually went on to get married in 1943, and he lived until 1991. And he's buried in Knoxville. I actually also found the obituary for his dad, who passed away in 1959. But isn't that so cool? We get what could potentially have been some really bad news, and we find out that the guy not only made it, but also wrote a book about it. I love that. Now, as for some other little cute things I found in here, we've got some ham recipes from the Virginia, Tennessee Ham Company. We've also got this really cute sandwiches around the clock. I actually thought this was really, really neat. We've got children's lunches. Now, some of them sound pretty bad, like this pork and smoked tongue, frankfurter and egg, apricot and walnut. I mean, there's some bizarre combinations on that one. But here's some men's-sized sandwiches. So apparently men like beef and celery, ham and potato salad. I don't know what to think about that one, but I don't know. Here we've got some party fare. I get avocado and shrimp. I guess it was just a different time. And this I thought was really cute. Teenage snacks. So of course we've got to have something different for the teenagers, right? So frankfurters and cheese. Ugh. I don't know. We've also got some family meals. There's some chickenette. You know, some of these don't sound bad. So let's see what else we got. Oh, I like this one too, the Midnight Raiders. So if you get hungry in the night, you're definitely going to want an egg, olive, and bacon sandwich because that's what I crave at midnight. And now we may actually have to try one of these for our last installment of this cookbook. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you want to see some of these sandwiches made and see what they look like and maybe try to see what it tastes like? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that. And now as for Madge, she actually went on to live quite a long life. She died at 81 years old in 2001. And she's actually buried here in Greene County, even though she lived, it looks like, mostly in Knoxville. And judging by her recipes, it looks like her family has a lot of really, really good memories of her cooking for them and really caring for them. And I'm sure that they cherish every one of those memories. Lucky for us, these jumbles are fairly simple, and we're gonna let our stand mixer do most of the work. So first you'll go ahead and add your shortening and your sugar. After that's creamed, go ahead and add your eggs one at a time and allow it to mix thoroughly between each egg. And while my mixer was going, I went ahead and got my dry ingredients together. So you'll take your flour, your baking soda, and your salt. Go ahead and add that to a bowl and whisk that together. After that, I went ahead and got my cup of raisins ready. I had a few little stragglers try to escape, but I rounded them all back up and put them back where they belong. I also went ahead and measured out my cup of buttermilk. Now you're going to go ahead and alternate between adding some flour and then some buttermilk to your mixer. Allow that to get nice and smooth, and then go ahead and add in your vanilla and of course your raisins. And you can see this made a beautiful silky dough, really reminiscent of a cookie. But we're actually going to put them in loaf pans. So in two well-greased loaf pans, go ahead and divide your dough between the two. Next, you will sprinkle both tops as generously as you want with some more sugar. Then you'll bake these for about 25 to 30 minutes at 375 degrees. Now, I would say that mine took about 40 minutes to completely bake through, so just make sure you take a knife or a skewer and insert them in to make sure it comes out clean before you take them out of the oven. Allow them to cool before trying to take them out of the pan. And then you're ready to cut some slices, get your tea or coffee ready, and have you a nice little snack, 1955 style. Okay, so I'm a little bit afraid I left it in the oven a hair too long. Okay, so, but the middle still seems nice and moist and spongy, so it's probably okay. Just, you know.
A little crusty.
Yeah, maybe a little crusty, but we'll see. All right, you ready?
Yeah. I'm not normally a huge fan of raisin bread.
Right.
I'm not usually a huge fan of anything raisin.
No, I'm not either.
It's almost like it should be a chocolate chip, and it just a letdown of a chocolate chip.
Yeah.
That's probably just because like I'm too much of a sugar fiend.
Yeah.
But that being said, I really like this bread.
That's what I was thinking too. And part of the crustiness here is because, you know, when you're sprinkling the sugar on top, the sugar actually caramelized on top and created a crust.
See, I didn't know that, but I noticed that the crust was like almost like candied crust.
Yes.
It's really good. And
I don't mind the raisins.
Right. No, I was wondering like normally like raisin bread has like a cinnamon swirl in it, or like some
Yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of add like that. But I think the cinnamon would have been too much for this.
I do too.
Like-
I think it's, you know what, it kind of reminds me of a chocolate chip cookie without the chocolate chips.
Yeah, and the raisins are almost taste sweeter than what I expected them
Yeah.
to do. And I don't know if that's because the caramelized sugar on the crust, or
It
if the
might
bread
be.
itself is a little bit sweeter. I
Oh,
don't know.
now the bread is very, I mean, there's 2 cups of sugar
Okay.
in the batter, so it's a very
kinda
sweet
yeah,
bread.
It's sweeter than I expected it
Yeah.
to be.
But you know-
it's really good, I think.
I'm really pleasantly surprised at it.
Yeah.
Because, number one, it seemed like it was going to be too plain when I read the ingredients. And then I got really confused about, oh, wait, this isn't cookies. I put it in a loaf pan. And then I was like, boy, that just seems weird, you know, with the way the batter was and stuff. But all of it works. And one thing I do like about it, now this is kind of a little bit of a funny thing. I don't know if this is like a thing or not, but this recipe, she put this recipe in 1955.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now we don't know how old this particular recipe is,
Right.
but it does crack me up because you can kind of see like the differences in the decades, because you had the 1940s rationing where you couldn't
Yeah.
hardly get sugar at all. And then all of a sudden the 1950s it's like, woohoo, you can put 2 cups in the batter and sprinkle more sugar on top of it, because we're just gonna go all out there. So it's kind of neat, like
It
to
definitely
see.
is very, like, I actually think it would be great to, because it's so sweet, it would be great to pair with like a tea or a coffee.
Oh,
and like a
perfect.
breakfast bread kind of thing.
Yes, and don't let the like plainness like put you off.
No.
Because that's kind of what I thought. But this is, it's kind of, you kind of want it plain. Like, I don't see it, how you could kind of like make it better. And one thing I also like about it is it's kind of like, it's all ingredients that you should already have.
Yeah.
It's cheaper ingredients. I mean, due to inflation, it would have been way cheaper back in 1955 even than now. But for the family, you know, she mentions in here that she has 3 boys in the house, and she said sometimes, even with 3 boys, these last 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, you know, she you can tell she's kind of like thinking economically,
Right.
in terms of what she's making for her family and stuff like this. And this is a very economical thing to make.
Yeah.
Raisins are cheap.
Yeah.
You know, you can stretch this, you know, quite a ways.
Right.
So I kind of like that about it. You get a little snapshot
Yeah.
of her family life, you know, how she's planning and what recipes, you know, she's thinking, what can I make for 3 boys in the house that's going to at least last me 2 days? You know? And so, you know, this is one of her go-tos,
Yeah.
which I think is really a neat little look into a 1955 family home life.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm going to give this a 5.
Yeah.
I say definitely try it. I think especially if you're into like coffee and tea cakes, you're gonna like this
Yeah.
a lot. So, and you know what? Hooray for like little newspaper clippings.
Yeah.
You know, you never know what kind of a gem of a recipe you're going to find in your hometown newspaper, especially if you can find older copies of it.
Yeah.
So that's the really cool thing. Now, stay tuned for next week, because I'm kind of thinking we're going to do something a little unusual next week. This book has lots of recipes, and I don't think I've showed this on camera yet. I might have when I first bought the cookbook, but I don't think I've done it in this series. There's all kinds of recipes written in the fly leaves and the covers of this. And some of them are even, one of the ladies even like made a folded paper that she could tuck in there and keep adding to them. So you see there's like more on this side too. So stay tuned for that one because we're gonna do an odd experiment to see if any of these are any good. And definitely try this. You're really gonna like it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.